And some news just coming in from India. Election Commission of the country has announced the dates for assembly elections for the 90 constituencies of Jammu and Kashmir. The election will be held in 3 phases beginning September 18th. The second phase will be held on September 25th and the third on October 1st. Now we are also being told that the polling in Haryana will be held in a single phase on October 1st, coinciding with phase 3 voting in Jammu and Kashmir that we just laid out, and the counting of votes will be held on October 4th. We will be coming back to Haryana in a while. Let's stick with Jammu and Kashmir, and for more on this, our correspondent Idris Lone is joining us live. Idris, what do you have for us?
Well, absolutely. It's a big news coming from the Election Commission of India after 10 long years. The last assembly election that was held in Jammu and Kashmir was in 2014. And since then, the political parties as well as the locals have been demanding that the assembly election should be held as soon as possible. The Election Commission of India was here last week and the delegation met up with all the political parties as well as with the administration, after which they have now finally taken a decision of holding elections, assembly elections across Jammu and Kashmir. This is the first time after the revocation of Article 370 that the assembly elections would be held in J&K. Jammu and Kashmir before that was a state and was also divided into 2 union territories. So Jammu and Kashmir going for the first time to elections, assembly elections this time. However, if we talk about the political parties in Jammu and Kashmir, especially the National Conference and People's Democratic Party, both the chiefs of the parties have decided to stay away from the assembly elections. They've said that they will not be contesting themselves, but their leaders would go ahead and will be contesting the election. Dr. Farooq Abdullah from the National Conference himself has also hinted that he will be the only big leader actually who will be participating in the assembly elections this time. On the other hand, security remains one of the major concerns for the central government, and that was one of the reasons that the elections were delayed for a long time. In the last few years, the central government kept saying that they're working for the development and peace in Jammu and Kashmir, and that's one of the reasons that the elections were not held. And finally, the Election Commission of India making an announcement and saying that elections would be held in Jammu and Kashmir in September and October, starting from September 18th in 3 phases, which is a great news for the political parties as well as the locals of Jammu and Kashmir. On the other hand, Jammu and Kashmir government administration has transferred over 250 officers from the administration as well as Jammu and Kashmir police in the last 24 hours. And that's raised eyebrows, and some political parties like National Conference have questioned the administration led by the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, and also in their social networking, they've also tagged the Election Commission of India for these transfers which are happening last minute just before the announcement of the Election Commission.
Right, Idris, and as you correctly mentioned, 5 long years, the wait is finally over. Assembly elections are going to be held in Jammu and Kashmir. How do you expect the people to react to this?
Well, absolutely. It's a big decision, and it's what people were waiting for. We saw the parliamentary elections which were held recently across the country, especially in Jammu and Kashmir. There was a huge participation. For the first time, record-breaking people came out of their houses to cast their vote. If we talk just about the Kashmir Valley, which used to generally see the voting of around 10%, this time the voting was above 50%. And people, if we look at the figures, even the Election Commission was of the opinion that looking at the figures of the parliamentary elections, they believe that the upcoming assembly elections would have much higher number of people coming out and casting their vote.
All right, Idris, thank you so much for joining us and giving us all those updates. For those of you who are just joining in, we'll just quickly wrap it up for you. The Election Commission of India has announced the dates for Jammu and Kashmir's assembly polls. After a 5-year-long wait, the elections are going to be held from September 18th to October 1st, and those are the dates we have. It'll be a 3-phased election, and finally the results will be announced on October 4th. Those are the details we are getting in. Also, for those of you who are joining us from Haryana, we would quickly like to tell you that Assembly elections in Haryana are slated on October 1st and the results will be on October 4th. Those two major election dates coming in from the Election Commission of India, and as we speak, the press conference is ongoing, so we might hear more from the committee. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.